Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of Road Noise with Hutch. I actually started the podcast site Hutch Money Minutes a few years ago and just been so busy. I couldn't really commit to okay, I'm going to do this podcast thing every week. And what I realized is I'm driving a lot. And in the spirit of Tony Robbins' net time, NET, no extra time, I could just use this to share my thoughts. I actually get a lot of my best epiphanies, thoughts, reflecting done when I'm driving. I'm just in a flow state, heading places. I'm actually headed right now to go meet a friend to play pickleball. Yeah, so I was going to use this episode to talk to you a little bit about who I am, like who you're dealing with Hutch. A lot of you know me from bankingtruths.com, the site dedicated to dispelling the myths around infinite banking, using life insurance as your own bank. More recently, we've come out with 4D banking or four-dimensional banking, where we apply the same principles of infinite banking to a multitude of different asset classes, some of which you probably already have, that have their own embedded loan options to maximize compounding while also maximizing your available liquidity. And with the house of cards economy wobbling, maximizing your liquidity has never been more important because there may be generational buying opportunities coming all of our way, but I digress. I do want to say something about safety. So I realized that I did some homework on this, that, the influencers get flack for doing stuff when they're driving. I purposely set this up to where the tripod's way over there. I can't even reach it. Like you see, I'm reaching it. I'm not going to touch it. I have this cool remote where I can start and stop. And so this is really no different than you and I just talking while I'm driving, which I do when I have a passenger along. So I am taking steps. I insured, I promised my family that even though I'm heavily insured, that they would not be cashing out a death claim on my life insurance because I was going to adhere to utmost safety while doing this. So getting back to me, like, what am I about? Who is Hutch? What am I about? So I'm 51 years old now. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. In addition to, well, running a company, a media company, a life insurance agency, I actually sold a full-fledged boutique financial planning firm to actually one of the agents who helps us with the incoming life insurance leads. And the reason I sold it is because it's a weird thing, like to have freedom of speech in the area of finance. If you have certain licenses, you can't say certain things. So it's kind of ridiculous, actually. It's like, so wait a second, if you're not licensed, you can say whatever you want, but if you are licensed, you can't say anything. Now, obviously, I go to great lengths to make sure that the things I'm saying are true, or if not, I'm assuring people that there are contingencies, there are possibilities that can happen. But yeah, it was just simpler to let go of those licenses and let go of the company on the true investment front to be able to speak more freely about financial matters, uh, whatever, in the public space. Uh, in my spare time, so I have been married for 21 years. I met my wife in second grade in Catholic school. We actually just passed it on the road. I know you didn't see it, but Catholic school in San Clemente, California. We now live in Laguna Niguel, California, and have an office there not too far. Uh, got a house during COVID that had a little bit more room, pool, jacuzzi, cul-de-sac, all that stuff, which was very valuable during COVID. Got in early in COVID, which was nice. I think we got into contract in July before things started getting crazy. But yeah, we don't plan to move anytime soon, and sometimes that is to my chagrin. Love California. I'm actually driving along between San Clemente and San Diego here uh, by the Marine base. Camp Pendleton is just one of the most beautiful stretches of land. Um, but yeah, the tax situation, the cost of living in California can be kind of ridiculous. Uh, not a big fan of the state politics and how they're choosing to spend our money, even though I am contributing more than my fair share. But my wife and kids won't let me leave at this point. However, when my youngest grows up, Mrs. Hutch has said that we could domicile in a different place since we do plan to travel a lot in our empty nester era, as our kids call it. And so if we're going to have a home base and be traveling a lot, it's just not very economically efficient to do that in California. Probably do the short-term rental on our place because we love our house. We love the weather here. We pay dearly for it. But yeah, we'll probably move to someplace like Arizona or Nevada where we can get back quickly. Recently learned that Arizona dropped their state tax to 2.5. Wow. And Nevada is obviously 0. Don't love the desert heat, but obviously that's when we'd be traveling. But both my wife and I are avid pickleball players. Been playing since 2017. I realize it's a big fad now. But yeah, we're not the OGs. Like, it's been going on for a long time, but we have been around for a while in the pickleball world. And it's just a fun thing to do to get exercise. And I know people say it's for old people. That's what my kids say. And you don't have to move that much. But quite frankly, if you play it competitively, you actually get a really good sweat. It's just great cardio and good camaraderie, good fellowship with people, and just a good group of people that are usually playing that. So what else am I going to do? I realized that I just love games. I love games. I love strategy. You've probably gleaned a lot of that from my content. Um, I've actually been playing competitive poker since the mid 90s. Actually was playing professionally when I went back to college. My dropped out of college younger in life, right after the LA riots. In fact, I was going to UCLA and actually went down and was checking out the LA riots firsthand. That blew my mind. Um, Thankfully, I didn't get hurt. Uh, but um, but yeah, after that, I just realized, why am I studying all this theory and history? Because the world might be coming to an end. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy life. So I did that for a little while. Ended up getting back into the workforce and whatnot, and it's doing okay. My wife insisted that I go back to college. And I said, I don't think I need to. And she said, she's in education. She said, if you want to be with me, you're just too smart. You got to do this. And so I did, and I was able to play professional poker while I was studying for my degree, which was I just ended up going back taking stuff for what I enjoyed. So I did some business classes and whatnot, but I really enjoyed the writing classes, and I couldn't think for the world of me how that was going to benefit me. Little did I know that a lot of my content would end up on the World Wide Web, and people would be searching for it and like what I have to share with the written word. And I still really very much love writing. I like making videos too, but there's something just about writing that I really do enjoy. I would like to write the great American novel someday. Don't have a ton of spare time now, but who knows, maybe in that empty nester era, I will. Going back to games and strategy and the poker, I'm just a weekend warrior now, but I do enjoy playing poker at a high level. I've had some decent results in Hold'em over the years, but quite frankly, I just got bored of it. I think my biggest cash was $100,000 in 2017. You can look up John Hutchinson poker and kind of see my results over the years. You'll see I played the main event in 2005 in cash. I got 259th out of, I don't know, 5,500 people. I think that was the year that Joe Hashem won. But yeah, nowadays, Hold'em kind of bores me. People are just so darn slow with it. All the tanking and thinking to fold 7 deuce. It's like, I ain't got time for that. So I actually play mixed games where you sit at a table and there's a stack of plaques with different games, and every 6 or 7 hands, the game changes. And you got to be pretty good at them all. So even though you may have a no limit home specialist or a PLO, a pot limit Omaha specialist, you got to be good at all the games, and just good with reading people, good with quick math, good with managing your emotions, with money in pressure cooker situations. So you can kind of see the correlation between that and financial planning. It's interesting because the financial world tries to separate themselves from gambling analogies, but there's really so many correlations. And that's why you see a lot of times like there'll be recreational players that are hedge fund managers or financial analysts do really, really well because there are so many correlations. And yeah, I do enjoy that as a hobby. I wife lets me play once a week maximum. It's fine. It takes up a lot of time, and quite frankly, if I redeployed the same amount of time in my own business, I'd probably have a better hourly rate. But again, it's something I enjoy. Something else I do is like think of all like the little minutia tasks, right? You have to like call your homeowner's insurance company or call Verizon or do this bill spreadsheet. I'll do a lot of that when I'm actually at the table. Um, just kind of multitasking between hands. Because if you're playing poker properly, you are folding the vast majority of hands. You have to be more selective about when you enter the pot. However, I will say, and this is another thing that's very fun about mixed games, it is more mathematically correct to play and enter more hands. So whereas with Hold'em, you just have to be on lockdown and fold a lot of times. It just gets so darn boring. But with mixed games, you can be more active without giving up too much edge from a math standpoint. The pickleball, we talked about that a little bit, but some people just like to go out there and it's just, I watch newbies play and it's just kind of chaos. But when you watch pickleball at the higher levels, it's really like an orchestrated dance. And it's really there's really some masterful strategies that are being crafted when you're playing. And to the outsider watching, it can look kind of boring. There's a lot of dinking. That's where there's just like little slow hits that just barely go over the net. But it's all positioning. And there's correlation to both poker and call it even finances with infinite banking, or golf. I used to be into golf. I'll probably get back into that at some point when I retire. Just don't have the time for it right now. But with the dinking, it's all about setting yourself up and positioning yourself. So it's interesting when you watch pro pickleball and I ask you who has the softest dinks, who has like the most controlled softest dinks. It's actually the men. It's not the women. It's not the seniors. It's the men. And that's because they know that they all have nukes and firepower. And so they have to like really be mindful about where they're putting those balls. And so again, the same's true with poker. Who Daniel Negreanu, one of the most well-known poker players, he always says limping is pimping. Limping is where you don't raise, and he likes to keep pots small till he knows he has the best of it. That is the old fuzzbuster. Yes, I have a fuzzbuster. Only going about 75 right now. You can see people passing me, but yeah, I don't like speeding tickets, so I have one of these Rodenzo Pro. I forget if it's Pro M or M Pro. Really good radar detector, and it has really good filtration. Like you'll be driving with some people, and you're hearing this thing beeping all the time. Not so with me because I have it just dialed to where it's only KA band or laser, which in California is what they get you with. You can look it up on the website and see what's what. I digress. Yeah, so small ball with finances, traditional financial thinking is all about shooting the moon and how do I get the highest return? And you can't time the market and all this stuff. But really, when you have a lot of money that's safe and liquid, it really opens up your options when the sky starts falling and you can get generational buying opportunities from depressed asset prices. Uh, Also, even if you're not looking to scoop up anything else, just maintaining your machine is nice. Um, and that's why using infinite banking, 4D banking is so important because of those dinks, because of the small ball aspect of it. I did an animated video a long time ago called Cash is King. People say that all the time, but cash value is queen. Um, and I'm talking about a chess analogy. I'm not good at chess, by the way. But what that means is, if you think about a king, that's like cash. And it's really versatile. Like you can move one space in any direction, but it's just not very powerful. Versus when you warehouse your liquidity in a life insurance product, now your king acts more like a queen in that you can move in any direction still, but you can move multiple spaces and you get a better return, you get some tax benefits, you get ongoing tax sheltering, you get all these additional benefits that come with life insurance, possibly creditor protected, like protection. One little lawsuit, like having your cash protected from that is like a really good day in the market. um, Obviously, bad things happen to good people. So the fact that there is a death benefit, and people don't realize this, but as long as you have what's called the chronic illness rider, the fact that you can tap in to your death benefit, even though you're not dead, is key. And that could happen if like you were hurt, sick, or injured in a way where you can no longer take care of yourself. And that's a free rider that's available on a lot of policies. Um, More about me, my kids. So my daughters, I have two seniors, twins. Yes, twins. People say twins, and it is a valid question, but in my case, they are twins. And a single, twins and a single, junior, all girls. Yes, there's a lot of estrogen in our house. My wife is going through menopause. That doesn't help. No, I don't have a boy dog. We have had dogs before. I love dogs. I love cats too, but my wife is allergic to them. Um, if she wasn't, it wouldn't surprise me if we had a cat because they can be somewhat self-sufficient when they're traveling. But my girls have asked me for a dog, and I have said no, largely because they're all going to be gone, and we're going to travel. And even though there's wonderful kennels available and you can get dog sitters, I know my wife, and if we're traveling, she's gonna be worried about that dog. Even if we can like look at a video and the dog's getting massaged and gourmet food, she's gonna be worried that the dog's gonna miss us and we're gonna have to cut our vacation short. So for that reason, we are dogless. I love dogs. Actually like dog sitting for people because it's great after that weekend or 4 or 5 days. My wife's like, okay, I get it, right? Like, I'd be a great grand dog parent, right? Like, send the dog over, and now we're done. Here's the dog back. I'd be remiss to not talk about probably the thing I'm the most proud of with my kids. When they were 9, 9, and 7, my wife and I bought a 41-foot RV and we drove them around the country for a year. It's amazing. I'll put some videos in the show notes, or just like some homegrown videos. I was actually building out Banking Truths while I did this, and it actually gave me the creative space to go ahead and do that. But just a wonderful family adventure that we got to enjoy together, and the conversations I was able to have with those kids, the ability just to kind of share with them our family mythology before we release them to school and teenagers and preteens and everything else was just a wonderful thing. And I am looking forward to doing the RV thing again when we're empty nesters, because it's just a great way to see America. It's interesting because a lot of my clients now are telling me that they're doing that. They're aware that I did it. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough about that experience. What else? I'll tell you a little bit about the podcast coming up. So, I'm just going to talk about really whatever inspires me at the moment. I am going to kick it off by talking about the 4D banking system and the different modules about that, because it's one thing to see like a branded webinar like we have, and it's another thing just to get the details and the ins and outs again while I'm out here free flowing on the road. So almost to my pickleball game. It was great being with you. Hope you enjoyed the first episode of Road Noise with Hutch, and we'll see you the next time.